More than 1,500 residents have been evacuated from a town on the Italian island of Sicily after a landslide triggered by violent storms left homes teetering on the edge of a cliff.
Right now, as you're watching this, an entire town in Italy is slowly sliding toward destruction. This is not a metaphor. This is not a prediction. This is happening in real time. More than 1,500 residents have already been evacuated from a town on the Italian island of Sicily after a massive landslide began tearing the ground apart beneath their feet. And this isn't a small mountain village tucked away in isolation. This is a full-scale community of nearly 25,000 people, families, schools, hospitals, businesses, and neighborhoods that have existed for generations. For 48 straight hours, the rain did not stop. Hour after hour, water soaked deeper into the ground. Hillsides darkened, drainage systems failed, and beneath the surface, something far more dangerous than flooding was quietly unfolding. Every minute, the situation gets worse. Buildings are cracking open like toy houses. Streets are splitting cleanly in half. Power lines sag as the earth beneath them shifts. Families stand helplessly behind police barricades, watching homes that sheltered parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents begin to collapse into the earth. Walls tilt, floors warp, doors no longer open. Scientists are now warning that the entire hill beneath the town could fail. And here's the terrifying part. This disaster did not come out of nowhere. It's happened before. What's really happening underground? When most people hear the word landslide, they imagine mud rushing downhill, fast, visible, chaotic. That's not what this is. What's happening beneath this town is something far more dangerous and far more deceptive. A rotational landslide. Instead of the surface layer simply sliding away, the ground deep below the town is rotating. Imagine a massive invisible spoon carving through layers of earth, slowly turning downward. As it rotates, it drags everything above it along for the ride. Buildings aren't just collapsing, they're twisting, they're splitting, they're being pulled downward in sections, torn apart from below. This is why homes appear warped rather than flattened, why staircases tilt at impossible angles, why entire rows of houses move together, cracking in synchronized patterns. Satellite imagery confirms what residents feared. Massive rifts are carving through farmland below the town, long, widening scars that look like new valleys forming overnight. These are not surface cracks. These are deep structural failures where entire sections of land are collapsing and sinking. And the landslide isn't limited to the cliff edge shown in news footage. It's spreading slowly, relentlessly. Geologists confirm the movement is creeping northward, inching closer to the town center. Authorities initially marked a red zone extending 500 feet into the town, declaring it unsafe. Now they warn it may need to expand another 500 feet as ground deformation accelerates. Row by row, street by street, the land is being pulled out from beneath the town, and there is no emergency fix for that. The storm that pushed it over the edge. So what triggered this collapse? The answer is Cyclone Harry. This powerful Mediterranean storm system slammed into Sicily with relentless force, dumping enormous volumes of rain over a short period of time. For 2 full days, the sky never cleared. Rivers swelled. Slopes absorbed more water than they were ever designed to hold. But rainfall alone isn't the full story. Beneath the town lies a dangerous geological combination, layers of clay and sand. Under dry conditions, these layers remain relatively stable. But when saturated, the clay behaves very differently. It becomes slick, almost lubricated, creating a sliding surface between earth layers. With 48 continuous hours of rainfall, that clay layer became completely waterlogged. The result? A perfect underground failure plane. Italian television footage captures scenes that statistics can't explain. Homes sliced clean in half. Bedrooms exposed to the open air. Toys still sitting on shelves. Kitchens frozen in time. Plates on tables. Photos still hanging on cracked walls. These aren't just structures collapsing. They are entire lives being ripped open. This already happened, and nothing changed. This is where the story becomes infuriating. On October 13, 1997, the same area suffered a devastating landslide. Nearly 50 buildings were destroyed. Around 400 people were forced from their homes. The town remained under emergency conditions for more than a year. At the time, officials promised change. After the disaster, 14.5 million euros was allocated to secure secure the area. Stabilization projects were announced. Engineering plans were drafted. Press conferences were held. Almost nothing was done. One resident now living through this disaster remembers the first one all too well. She was just over 20 years old when her family's home was destroyed in 1997. Her parents lost everything. It took 6 years of renting before they could afford to buy a home again. This time, they did everything right. They followed regulations. They purchased property in what officials labeled a safe zone. They rebuilt their lives. Now, nearly 30 years later, she's homeless again. The fear, the displacement, the loss, all repeated. Decades of warnings ignored. What makes this disaster even more devastating is that it was predicted. For over a decade, the area has been officially classified as maximum landslide risk, the highest danger level possible under Italian geological assessments. In 2014, another incident triggered urgent recommendations for improved drainage systems. Nothing was built. Between 2020 and 2024, €8 million was earmarked for reinforcing water channels and stabilizing slopes. Nothing materialized. Even consolidation work drafted as recently as August 2025, just months before this collapse, was never implemented. Meanwhile, nearly €100 million was spent elsewhere in Sicily on land stability projects. Residents are now asking the question that demands answers. Why was their town left behind? Why were warnings ignored? Why were funds diverted? Why did decades of risk assessments lead to no action? An official investigation has now been launched into possible negligence, examining drainage failures, land use decisions, and years of planning inaction. As residents shouted during protests, "What have you done for the last 30 years?" A warning for everyone. As this unfolds, the crisis is not isolated. Across Sicily and Sardinia, Cyclone Harry continues to leave destruction in its wake. Coastal towns have been battered by waves reaching 30 to 40 feet, tearing apart harbors, roads, and sea defenses. Emergency crews and volunteers are working non-stop as disaster zones multiply across the region. Back in the town at the center of this landslide, the ground continues to move. Buildings that appeared intact one day show new cracks the next. Geologists warn that nearby structures could collapse within hours or days, depending on rainfall and underground movement. And the most chilling warning of all, if conditions worsen, the entire hill could give way, placing nearly 25,000 lives at risk. There is one small light in this tragedy. Animals are being rescued alongside families. Horses, dogs, cats, and livestock are being evacuated as the ground fractures beneath them. Volunteers work carefully, knowing that panic could cost lives, human and animal alike. But for residents, promises of help feel hollow. They've heard them before, a lesson written in the earth. This disaster carries a lesson far beyond Sicily. When choosing where to live, where to raise children, where to build a future, you cannot rely on appearances alone. You must understand the land beneath your feet, its history, its weaknesses, its memory, because the ground remembers everything. It remembers every ignored warning, every delayed project, every shortcut taken in the name of convenience. And ground that looks solid today can take everything from you tomorrow. My heart goes out to everyone affected, in Sicily, in Sardinia, and across the region. This isn't just a disaster, it's a warning. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and help keep this kind of reporting alive.